Hey everyone, welcome to Joe HQ. Kind of a little bit of a mess, but it's where the magic happens. Hey, so I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about pricing off the top of your head. And I get it, I've guilty as charged. There's times where people came to me in my shop and said, hey, how much for this? Okay, $5,000. Well, okay, go get it done. But the problem is pricing like that is not sustainable and it risks a lot for you and your shop. So let's talk through it a little bit and see if I can encourage you to stop pricing off the top of your head and get some kind of a system in place that'll really help you be consistent. So first of all, it's almost impossible to quote accurately if you're quoting off the top of your head. If material pricing fluctuates, install activities, there's too many variables to try to sit down and guess what has to be done on a job to make sure that you are profitable. If you're pricing off the top of your head, it's also going to cause problems with bottlenecks. So if your team, if it's a salesperson or a project manager, for example, and I do hear this a lot when I talk to people, if they're having to chase you around to get pricing, quotes are going to go out late, you're going to miss opportunities. Again, you can't be consistent and accurate. So you have to get something in place where you can use it as a way to teach other people in your shop how to do the quoting. And if you're paranoid about it, I get it, because it seems like quoting, that's the most important part of the process. You have to make sure that your profits are protected. And how can I trust that to somebody else? Well, first of all, you're hiring hopefully really smart people that you trust. Trust your ability to hire the right people. But even if you start off by just teaching folks how to price things like banners, vehicle wraps, maybe you use some level of formula pricing where you say, hey, I know, I've calculated it out. I know for $5 a square foot or for $10 a square foot, we make X profit. So if you can start off by teaching and trusting your team to quote the simple stuff, and what we would do at our shop, because we actually had an estimator eventually, which was great, but the sales reps and the project managers would also do quotes. Oftentimes it was for the simple things. And anytime a quote went out the door, an owner, myself, I had a business partner, we would have to sign off on it. And so that way it was a second set of eyes looking at it. But if we didn't have to quote all the simple stuff all the time, it freed us up to spend more time on the complicated projects to ensure we were going to make the money that we needed to make. So anyway, that's how it impacts your shop. Second, it impacts your client relationships. It's great if you can give a client a quote right off the top of your head for $5,000. But if they go and open up a second location or a third location, and all of a sudden the second time around, that same sign is $7,000, it's like, what the heck happened? Your clients require that your quotes be consistent. They need to be able to rely on your numbers for their budgets. You can make a great sign and they're happy at the end of the day, and that's wonderful. But they also have strict budgets when they're opening up a new location or finishing up a certain project. So they need to know that your pricing is going to be consistent. It also allows you to be transparent. So if you sit down and say, well, hey, this is $5,000, we'll get it all done. And the next time around you say, hey, the sign is $3,000, the install's $2,000, the permits are $1,000, and that includes survey, engineering permits, whatever. It allows you to be a little bit more transparent. Not that your clients want to see every single nut and bolt or every single part of the labor process in a broken down quote, but they do want to be able to rely on your consistency for their budget's sake. Because you don't want to lose jobs, to the guy down the street because their pricing is more consistent and reliable. Lastly, it impacts you. If you're running around and people are chasing you around the shop and interrupting you and asking you, how much for this? What should I charge? You're never going to get anything done. I was in a sign shop not too long ago, and I'm not going to tell you which one or where, but it was in Texas. And I was sitting in the sign owner's office, and we were going through quoting processes and job flow processes and all that stuff. It was a sign tracker thing. And we weren't in her office for an hour, and I would say that we were interrupted at least 5 times, where she had to stop, answer questions about pricing, and I mean, at the end of the hour, I had no idea how she got anything done in the course of a day. It was terrible. So do yourself a favor, build some systems. And again, I don't care if it's Excel spreadsheets, QuickBooks, a program like SignTracker or some of the other ones that are out there, but build some quoting templates that your team can use, that you can review, and you can get your quotes out quicker and more accurately. And then save yourself for the bigger custom projects. I guarantee you, you will rest easier at night, you'll feel less bombarded all day long, and you'll have way more control over your profits, and you'll sleep just a little bit better. So anyway, I want to encourage you, get that pricing out of your head, go make great signs.